believes that when they say something about women, the first thing she thinks is, women. What good can come out of women? Because when we have poor mindset about womanhood, about the capability and abilities of women, we will have situations where there will be inequality. Because they'll say, I leave her, or she cannot leave, she's a woman. Have you encountered it on the way before? You're driving. It has happened to you before. And you know, sometimes, even with the women, we say it. You're driving, and then somebody drives roughly, or doesn't drive properly. And what do you say? She's a woman. That's inequality. That's inequality. When we begin to, there's poor mindset, and then there's improper education. In Africa in particular, somehow we're just, I don't want to say we're disadvantaged, but somehow there's improper education generally, and even to our girls. Do you agree with me that for many of us, well, not us necessarily sitting down in the room, when we are bringing up our children, we bring them up with the mindset of, so that she can be a good wife? Is this how you go and do in your husband's house? You're talking to a 4-year-old girl. Okay, I know you don't do it, but do you know people who do it? Do you know people who do it? So, there is improper education, not just the formal education, even the informal education. When we bring up our girls to think, see, the end result of your life is marriage. That's not right. Because they will not even strive for excellence. And those are part of the things that bring about inequalities. Because they just look at what's there. Okay, Shebi is marriage. And many of the people who we find now as victims, I can assure you that many of them actually had this mindset. Then there is tradition and culture. Culture is the way of life of a people. Tradition is the belief of the people. Now, our traditions and our cultures, they make it very easy for inequality to thrive. Remember, we're looking at the way of life, and then we're looking at the belief. We're looking at the thinking of the people. For instance, in Afghanistan, report tells us that girls who go to school, they are poured acid because they go to school. And then in our nation here, in the northern part of the country, not even only northern part of the country, women are regarded as low class, you know. They are not equals with men. I don't know if you watched that video. There was this legislator, I don't think it was senator, I think it was a House of Rep. There was this video that went viral. You watched it, ma? And he was talking, and he said, you know, women. He was just talking derogatorily about women. These are part of the things that tradition has done. Now, we also have situations where the tradition has marginalized widows. In Africa generally, if a husband dies, who killed him? It's the wife. Even if it was the wife that was helping him and sustaining, and you'll just be amazed that for some family, You hear stories of a woman cannot go into the church, for instance, when she's menstruating. A woman cannot take communion when she's doing this, that kind of a thing. And then we have empowerment. A lot of times, we have women who are not well empowered in terms of job, in terms of earnings, and these things put us at a disadvantage. Then what are the expressions? Some expressions of gender inequality. Research tells us that for girls, there is a lower life expectancy for girls. Even access to prenatal care, it's lower for girls globally, not just in Nigeria. And even education, till today, 2019, there are still people who think it's not worth it educating a girl. There are still parents who believe if you educate a girl, see, you will be taking care of her for her husband. Let her just go ignorant. Unfortunately, when we don't educate the girl child, who now becomes a woman and becomes a mother, it creates a lot of problems, beginning with the home. Imagine having an ignorant mother. It will affect how she nurtures the children. It will affect how she takes care of the child. It will affect how she relates with the children. There is also child marriage. Situations where you have 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds given out. Even the girl I told her story, she was still a child. Expression of gender inequality and poor representation in government. Now we have violence against women, we have sexual abuse, and somebody talked about abuse, then we have rape. Now, according to Budget Project, worldwide, 120 million girls experienced forced intercourse. 120 million girls. Like I said earlier, on February 6th, it was declared and celebrated as the Day of Zero Tolerance for Gender-Based inequality. When they insist that they'll cut off the clitoris of the girl, of the female, so that she does not get wayward. Now, what are the solutions? We need to promote strategies to prevent violence and discrimination against girls and women. I like what we're doing. We need to keep orienting people. Now, you'll also be amazed at the level of ignorance of people. You'll be amazed. When we went to the maternal home I talked about, it was as a result of interacting with the women. We told them, in fact, one of the nurses told us, she gave us the report of a study that was conducted. I can't remember the name of the area now. They said there's an area where the people in that area, they do not, in Oyo State here, they do not accept female genital mutilation. Their girls are not mutilated. And then there was a study on the girls in that area. And another area where female genital mutilation was accepted. It was discovered that the area where the girls were mutilated, they had more wayward girls. Wayward as in girls who were sleeping around. We'll need to keep talking. We'll talk with ourselves, we'll talk with our children. Every platform must be a platform to speak against violence against women, violence against children, discrimination against girls. Every platform. Even in some of our conversations, we should not be the ones having conversations that pull down the girl beside the boy. Now, participation of more women in governance. If we have more women in governance, we'll have more people who are making policies. We'll have more people who are talking in our favor. I remember Child Protection Network, we paid how this legislative is going now. We paid Oyo State House of Assembly a visit. Child Protection Network wanted to remind them to help us protect, to form policies, legislate things that will protect our children. And then one of the honorable member, the one in charge of children and women, I can't remember her name now, she assured us that they were going to ensure that policies that protected children, policies that protect women, they are made, they are formed. Imagine if we didn't have a woman like that. And the speaker even told us, he assured us that she, in fact, when they begin to talk about things about children and women, she almost fights. You will see that she doesn't joke with it. So imagine if we have like 10 more of such women in governance. And if we're going to talk about having more women in governance, I think we will start with our own attitude. If I ask us, I want to indulge you. As an organization, what we do, we like to get a feedback of when we interact with people on whatever topic. So please, I've already talked with the organizers. A feedback form will be passed. Please fill it and let us have a feedback. I believe that we can end gender inequalities as we rise to do the needful. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
If your question is directed at any of them, just indicate and I'll give her the microphone. But please, I'm going to raise 2 other panels. We're going to have fireside discussions with 2 other panels. Just ask your questions. Don't make your contributions too long so that we can take as many people as possible. So, can we have the questions come on? Questions, comments? We have 2 hands up here. Can we have a roaming microphone, please?
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. Listening to all, I came when you were speaking, and talking on Speak Out, I really learned a thing or two. My question is to the 3rd and 4th speaker. Adoption, like you rightly pointed out, is a major issue, and it's an issue very dear to my heart. Because I have a lot of people around me who have this, who are still waiting. And I've been able to talk to some younger ones to take adoption as an option. Unfortunately, the process in Ibadan is very cumbersome. We started a process 2 years ago. The child is actually 2 years now, and we are yet to conclude on that. And the lady keeps like calling me that you are the one that said we should do this. And even though we've started this process, you know, the going forth and back has been difficult. Secondly, stigmatization. One of my neighbors who have been waiting for many years, she just had a baby. And like you rightly pointed out, we women are our major problems. She adopted this baby. And it is always sad to me when women around us are always saying, Mama, because she had a child she was taking care of, and they always refer to her, Mama, so. When go carry pikin. I'm always fighting with them, and it's getting exhausting. What are we doing with regards to stigmatization on adoption? What are the advocacy groups doing to stop this stigma? I have couples that have to wait till their old age to adopt because of this same issue of stigmatization. Because people always come up and say, that person not being pikin, he's not the one child or something. What can be done? Age stigmatization is dying. I believe we can do something on adoption. Should I take the 2 questions immediately? No. For the third speaker, I'm sorry. Let me see. Where did I write this one?
Do you want to take that?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, the first question, I want to be clear. She has already adopted the child, but the process is...
The process was too long.
Oh, she's still on the process.
There are 2 questions in one.
Yes, I just wanted to, because she was saying the child is 2 years old, so I was like, the child has been adopted already. Yes, it takes, before adoption is final, it would actually take 2 years. It would take 2 years. And that's because of a lot of factors. There are some people that were giving children for adoption that had ulterior motives. So they will have to be appearing in court the first 6 months. Then after the first 6 months, 2 years, pending the final approval after 2 years. And I'm sure that you were rightly informed before the starting of a process. Before adoption can be final, you have to actually wait for 2 years. And well, it could be cumbersome because manpower, you know how the ministry is. There are not enough personnel, and instead of, I'm sure they don't even have enough social workers to do the visitation. That's why it's the clients that would have to keep coming. Normally, it should be the caseworkers that would go do the visitation and everything, but that would never happen because of lack of manpower. They don't even have a boss in that department.
Okay, thank you very much. Can Mrs. Adeshola just intervene?
Thank you. I just wanted to add, because I'm also on the board of trustees of an orphanage. What we discover is that sometimes the adopters, the guidelines are there, what you need to do so that the process can be approved, appearing in court and so on. But sometimes they themselves don't bring all the things that they are required to do and do so on time. And then we all work with ministries. If somebody needs to come and visit your house, you can facilitate his coming by sending a car, by sending a taxi, by sending something and just making it faster for yourself. But the important thing is that you as the adopter must understand the process, because it seems as if it's you that is pulling her. And I'm quite concerned that maybe if the child begins to have issues, she may not have the emotional fortitude to see it through. Because she keeps saying you are the one that is telling me. If the child happens to be a rascal in inverted commas, will she be able to continue with this? So you need to also look about whether she's really ready. Maybe it is God's way of just saying she herself is not even ready.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Adeshola. Can we take half?
Thank you very much. Still on the adoption thing. Because in recent times, I've grown interested in orphanage support. But like you rightly pointed out, a lot of the orphanages are transition homes. how can you handle issues of maybe the adoption process is long, and then I've been definitely told, I have an auntie who's a retired nursing matron in the East, and she was categorical that when it comes to adoption or you want to support orphanages, she said it's better, she said it categorically. She's a government worker, she's a retired matron. She said categorically that you had better support the privately owned ones, like maybe your own, than the government ones. There seems to be this impression that the government ones, when you come with contributions, when you come with donations, they divert it to themselves. I've even heard some news reports, verified news reports on radio, that they caught a woman trying to sell a child, and she said it was the orphanage agency in another state that encouraged her to put up money. And I've watched BCOS before, Saturday morning special, where even some people about orphanage stuff, they were complaining that in the ministry they require something, and you said once they require money, it is not free again. So what's your take on this?
Thank you very much. Do you want to take that?
Yes, like I rightly said, when you are informed, you know the right thing to do. If someone is asking you for money, you can always, that's why the ministry, we have the directors of each ministry. The ministry's door is always open. Even right now, the ministry in charge is the Ministry of Women Affairs, and I can tell of the commissioner, our door is always opened. The directors, you can walk up to them and report any officer that is, or any malpractice. Please don't leave it at the adoption officers and alone. Ensure you involve the right authority. On the issue of diverting contributions or donations, even some private orphanage do it. Ensure that when you bring in your donation, ask for your receipts. Ask for receipts, ensure it is properly documented. The ones that are diverted are the ones that are not documented. Every orphanage, most orphanages have their register where donors write down things brought, and there are also receipts issued.
Thank you very much. One of our grandmothers wants to say a few words. Dr. Smith.
I want to appreciate all of us who are here today. I hope the next time we are having this program, the entire hall will be full. Now, my first contribution or question. Please, what is your view about informing an adopted child that she or he is an adopted child? 1. 2, at what stage of their lives should this be done, if you think so? Now, Mrs. Oyedipo, would you like to enlist women in your call-in program for counseling? The third one, can we have an association of different women organizations so that women's voices can be stronger and more effective, and not just running mushroom NGOs? If each one cannot be registered under another bigger organization, so that we have a forum where we have a very strong voice. I think Association of Professionals, they have something like that. Now, this is a fantastic program, like I said. How can we ensure that the hall is full next time? I would have loved girls to participate in this program next time. But I would, if it's accepted, can we suggest the age? Like, I have an 11-year-old granddaughter, and I would have loved her to be around for some of this, should I say, talk. Can we have a day dedicated so that those of us who are here, who have grandchildren or children that age, we can bring them in? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Oyedipo, do you want to answer that?
Okay, thank you, Ma. Regarding counseling, you have to be professionally trained to be a counselor. I'm not a counselor, but I mentor a lot of young girls. So I work hand in hand with the Ministry of Women Affairs. But please, if you want to, because this, as we rightly said, it's a tough job. I can't do it alone. So the more advocates we have, the more people that want to work with me, I will be interested in seeing them, and we can work together to help a lot of people. Pardon? Exactly, because I'm actually enrolled in an online counseling program. Because like I said, I'm not a counselor. I can offer support, but I'm not a full professional counselor. So if you are interested, please see me after. And then we'll speak to the person in the Ministry of Women Affairs, and we can work together. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I'm an advocate for letting children know that they are adopted, because the instances, we have a few case studies where children that are aware, the negative outcome was almost zero than the ones that stumbled on that fact. And I would say at what age? Shortly before adolescence. That's where hormones and a lot of children get confused. And I'm sure a lot of us that were not even adopted, it was at that adolescent age we queried our parents. As in, a lot of us queried that, really, are you my mother? It's at that time that we all get confused. So I would say ensure that a child is informed shortly before adolescence age. Just like HIV, people that come out to, let everyone know that I'm positive, they have better acceptance, better life, better
it frees them.
It frees them. Yes. That's just it. So even we encourage women now to let everyone know, I adopted this child. Come for my naming ceremony. Come for my baby shower. You've shut their mouths already. There is no need. There is no secret there anymore. It's
Thank you
legal.
very much indeed. Can we have your question? Can I just take it?
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. Thank you very much for all these sessions. My first question is to the first speaker. So you were talking about work-life balance, and you listed some points. But the thing is, some of us, especially those of us that are just building up ourselves, we are still young. Maybe, like, for instance, I'm serving, and now I have like specific time limits. I can't do some things because I'm reporting to someone, I'm reporting to another person. So it's kind of hard to actually balance my own life and the other priorities that I have. Okay, then the second one is to the second speaker. So concerning sexual harassment, assault and stuff, when we go to marketplaces, the catcalling, the groping, they just touch us